February 22nd, 2027, 19:14 a.m., Kuril Islands, Northern Territories, disputed archipelago, Russia controls, Japan claims, historical grievance, post-World War II issue. Soviet Union seized islands 1945, Japan never accepted, 79 years of dispute, 4 islands matter most. Iturup, Kunoshir, Shikotan, Habomai. Combined area 5,000 square kilometers, population 19,000. Strategic location, controls Sea of Okhotsk access, blocks Russian Pacific Fleet, separates Japan from Russia, economics matter, fishing rights, natural resources, potential undersea oil, but mostly national pride, Japanese identity, Russian sovereignty, both nations committed, both nations inflexible, both nations ready to fight. Today, inflexibility becomes crisis. Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force conducts exercises near disputed islands, not violating territorial waters, but close, very close, provocatively close. 4 Kongo-class destroyers, Aegis-equipped, most advanced surface combatants in JMSDF, conducting air defense drills, surface warfare exercises, anti-submarine operations, professional training, routine operations. Except location isn't routine, timing isn't coincidental. Japan is sending message, Russia interprets message, deploys forces. Russian Pacific Fleet responds, submarines deploy, Bastion coastal defense missiles activate, aircraft patrol, complete defensive posture, defensive becomes threatening, training becomes confrontation, routine becomes crisis. Welcome to Navy Force. Where island disputes become standoffs and aging territorial grievances create modern conflicts, and Chinese support for Russia, plus American support for Japan, means local crisis becomes great power confrontation, and USS Virginia submarine watches both sides prepare for combat nobody wants but pride requires. Japanese exercise commander Rear Admiral Takeshi Yamamoto, 28 years service, nationalist, believes Northern Territories are Japanese, frustrated by diplomatic failure, determined to demonstrate capability. Exercise planned 6 months, approved by Defense Ministry, supported by Prime Minister. Message clear: Japan can defend claims. Japan will defend claims. Japan is ready. 4 destroyers operating 34 miles from Iturup, just outside Russian territorial waters. International waters, legally, provocative politically. Yamamoto knows this, intends this. Wants Russian response, wants international attention, wants pressure on Moscow. Exercise includes simulated attacks on coastal targets. Not actually attacking, just simulating. But radar signatures visible, missile guidance systems active, fire control solutions calculated, everything except actual launch. That's harassment. That's intimidation. That's dangerous brinksmanship. On Navy Force, we understand military exercises near disputed territory are never routine, always political, always provocative, always risky. Subscribe to Navy Force if you believe territorial disputes simmer until nationalism boils and exercises become engagements, and simulations become actual attacks, and today tests whether professional militaries prevent political madness. Russian Pacific Fleet Commander Admiral Viktor Chernyshev receives reports. Japanese destroyers conducting exercises near Kurils, simulating attacks, threatening posture, unacceptable provocation, must respond, must demonstrate Russian resolve, must defend Russian territory, orders immediate deployment. 3 improved Kilo-class submarines deploy, silent hunters, diesel-electric, very quiet, effective, positioning near Japanese vessels. Not attacking, just tracking, just pressuring, just reminding Japanese that Russian submarines are there, are capable, are ready. Additionally, activates Bastion Coastal Defense System, P-800 Onyx missiles, supersonic anti-ship weapons. Range 300 kilometers, can reach Japanese destroyers easily. Lock radar on vessels. Don't launch, just lock, just track, just threaten. Fire control solutions active. Targeting data continuous, fingers on triggers metaphorically, that's brinkmanship, that's pressure, that's gambling with war. At 10:47 a.m., Russian submarine surfaces 8 miles from Japanese destroyer JS Kongo, breaks surface intentionally, identification, intimidation, message, we are here, we see you, we can attack you. Submarine surfaces, flies Russian ensign, remains on surface 5 minutes, then submerges, gone. Japanese destroyer tracks dive, maintains sonar contact, but psychological impact achieved. Russians demonstrated presence, demonstrated capability, demonstrated will. Yamamoto receives report, evaluates Japanese submarines also nearby, can counter Russian submarines, can protect surface vessels, but submitting to Russian intimidation is unacceptable. Continuing exercise as planned, not altering course, not reducing operations, not acknowledging Russian pressure. That's courage, that's determination, that's also stubbornness that creates accidents. Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy watches carefully. China has strategic partnership with Russia, no formal alliance but practical cooperation. Chinese interests include weakening Japan, distracting America, supporting Russian position against American ally Type 055 destroyer, plans Nanchang positions 140 miles southeast, monitoring, ready to support Russia if needed, not overtly threatening, just present, just observing, just creating additional complexity. Japan now faces Russian submarines and coastal missiles, plus potential Chinese intervention. Odds deteriorating, situation complicating, strategic calculus changing, but Japan committed. Exercise continues. United States monitors via multiple assets, USS Virginia, SSN 774 submarine submerged 67 miles east, tracking everything, intelligence gathering, crisis monitoring, P-8A Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft overhead, radar surveillance, communications intelligence, complete picture developed, USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group 280 miles southeast, ready to support Japan if requested, ready to intervene if necessary, ready to fight if required, but hoping unnecessary. America has mutual security treaty with Japan, Article 5 equivalent. Attack on Japan triggers American response, but does exercise near disputed territory count as attack requiring defense? Legal ambiguity, political complexity, operational uncertainty. Reagan captain has orders. Support Japan. But how much? How far? What risk? Undefined, ambiguous, concerning. At 12:23 p.m., Russian Bastion missile battery radar illuminates Japanese destroyers. Fire control tracking, continuous lock, not launching, but could launch instantly, flight time 90 seconds. Japanese destroyers detect illumination, radar warning receivers alert, missile lock confirmed, threat imminent, countermeasures ready, electronic warfare active, but Onyx missile is formidable, supersonic, maneuvering, difficult to intercept. Japanese Aegis systems capable but success not guaranteed. Yamamoto faces decision. Break off exercise? That's yielding to Russian intimidation? That's accepting Russian authority? That's surrendering claim. Or continue? That risks actual attack, risks casualties? Risks war? He chooses continue, maintains position, continues operations? That's commitment? That's courage? That's gambling with lives? Japanese Prime Minister receives urgent briefing, exercise becoming crisis, Russian missiles locked on destroyers, Chinese vessel nearby, situation escalating, must decide, continue exercise and risk war, or recall destroyers and accept humiliation. Prime Minister is nationalist, campaigned on strong defense, promised to recover northern territories, cannot appear weak, cannot surrender, orders Yamamoto continue, but authorizes defensive measures. If Russia attacks, defend aggressively. That's permission to shoot back. That's escalation authorization. That's accepting war as possible outcome. Cabinet informed, opposition notified, public statement prepared. Japan is conducting legitimate exercises in international waters. Russia's threatening posture is unacceptable. Japan will defend vessels, will protect personnel, will not be intimidated. Strong words, firm position, dangerous commitment. Moscow receives reports. Japanese exercise continuing despite warnings, despite missile locks, despite submarine surfacing. Kremlin debates. Actually attack? That starts war. War with Japan means war with America means potential world war. Over islands, Russia controls. Over territory, Japan claims but doesn't possess. Mathematics unfavorable. But yielding to Japanese pressure demonstrates weakness, encourages further provocations, invites challenges elsewhere, also unacceptable. Putin receives recommendations. Hardliners want escalation. Military professionals want de-escalation. Foreign policy experts want negotiation. Putin decides middle path. Maintain pressure, don't attack, don't yield, outlast. Exercise has time limit. Japanese vessels have fuel limits. Eventually, Japan must withdraw. Then Russia claims victory. That's patience, that's strategy, that's hoping Japanese pride doesn't overcome Japanese prudence. At 14:34 p.m., near miss occurs. Russian submarine B-494 maneuvering near Japanese destroyer JS Chokai, both vessels tracking each other, both maintaining safe distance. Then B-494 changes depth, emergency descent, evading detection, but trajectory intersects Chokai's sonar array. Towed array cable, submarine snags cable, cable tears, array damaged. Not collision, but close. Not attack, but threatening. Accident or deliberate, ambiguous. Japanese commander reports. Russian submarine damaged our sonar array. Hostile action confirmed. Request permission to engage. That's escalation. That's potential trigger. That's moment when exercise becomes combat. Yamamoto hesitates. Sonar array is equipment, replaceable. Crew is safe. Submarine is leaving area. Attacking now escalates beyond recovery. Orders: maintain defensive posture. Do not engage unless directly attacked. That's restraint. That's wisdom. That's choosing equipment over war. On Navy Force, we understand accidents happen, but intentions matter, and interpreting accidents as attacks creates wars, while treating attacks as accidents prevents wars. And today, professional judgment prevents misinterpretation that triggers catastrophe. Subscribe to Navy Force because submarine cable snags are provocative but not war-worthy, and knowing difference between accident and aggression saves civilizations. USS Virginia tracks entire incident. Captain monitors Russian submarine movements, monitors Japanese reactions, monitors Chinese vessel positions, complete tactical picture maintained, has orders, prevent escalation, support Japan, avoid direct confrontation. How? By presence, by capability, by quiet assurance to Japan that America watching, America ready, America committed. Virginia positions between Russian submarines and Japanese destroyers, not obviously, not confrontationally, just subtly, just professionally, creating buffer, creating space, creating margin for error. Japanese commanders aware Virginia nearby. Confidence increased. Russian commanders aware too. Calculations adjusted. Chinese vessel notes American submarine presence. Decides maintaining distance is prudent. That's deterrence through presence. That's alliance support through positioning. That's submarine diplomacy at highest level. At 16:47 p.m., Japanese exercise concludes. Planned duration reached, objectives achieved, message sent, time to withdraw. Yamamoto orders return to base. 4 destroyers turn southeast, heading toward Hokkaido, maintaining formation, maintaining dignity, declaring success. Northern Territories exercises completed successfully. JMSDF demonstrated readiness, demonstrated capability, demonstrated resolve. Japan will continue to defend sovereign claims. That's face-saving. That's victory declaration. That's retreat called success. Russian forces maintain alert. Track Japanese withdrawal. Don't pursue, don't challenge, allow departure. Then declare own victory. Russian Pacific Fleet successfully defended national territory. Foreign provocations were countered. Territorial integrity maintained. Both sides claimed success. Both sides avoided war. Both sides continue dispute. That's modern territorial crisis. Nobody wins, nobody loses, everyone claims victory, nothing changes. What did Navy force learn from Kuril crisis? First, territorial disputes never resolve. 79 years of disagreement. Today's crisis changes nothing. Tomorrow's crisis inevitable. Pattern repeats indefinitely. Second, exercises near disputed territory are provocations. Japan knew this. Russia responded. Both sides escalated. Both sides risked war over routine training. Third, accidents almost trigger wars. Cable snag could have been interpreted as attack. Professional restraint prevented escalation. Fourth, alliances matter through presence. American submarine nearby enabled Japanese confidence, enabled continuation of exercise, enabled withdrawal without loss of face. Fifth, China is factor. Chinese vessel observing, potentially supporting Russia, complicating Japan's calculations, multilateral dimension to bilateral dispute. Final lesson, some disputes are forever. Kurils will remain disputed. Japan will continue claiming. Russia will continue controlling. Neither side yielding. Neither side compromising, just repeating confrontations. Different dates, different tactics, same fundamental disagreement, same risks, same near misses, same professional militaries preventing political madness from becoming actual combat. But margins are thin. Luck doesn't last forever. Eventually, accident becomes incident. Incident becomes engagement. Engagement becomes war. Nobody wants this. But structures create it. Nationalism demands it. History requires it. So cycle continues. Exercises repeat. Submarines shadow, missiles lock, commanders restrain, luck holds until maybe it doesn't. Subscribe to Navy Force for island disputes that simmer perpetually. Kurils today, Senkaku yesterday, Spratlys tomorrow. Pattern consistent. Nations with territorial grievances conduct provocative operations near disputed territory. Opponents respond with threatening posture. Both sides claim legitimacy, neither side yields. Professional militaries prevent escalation, while political leadership demands demonstrations. Eventually, somebody miscalculates. Eventually, accident isn't recognized as accident. Eventually, restraint fails. We watch for this. We report on this. We warn about this. Stay with Navy Force, because island disputes matter more than rocks suggest. Because sovereignty questions trigger wars, because understanding patterns enables prevention, and prevention requires awareness, and awareness requires information, and information requires Navy Force explaining what mainstream media ignores until shooting starts. And then it's too late for explanation, only counting casualties and analyzing failures and wondering why nobody saw this coming. We see it. We show you. We demand action. That's mission. That's purpose. That's Navy Force.